Hello again, welcome to update 2 of my double L gauge layout in the loft. Last time, remember, we were busy preparing the loft, so we can actually start work building the layout. I had to make a few changes for now. First one I'm going to show you is the loft ladder, because the previous loft ladder, if you remember, it was a 3-section aluminium one. When it folded into the loft, it folded over into an arc, basically, on a spring-loaded arm. And it had a big handle on the right hand side, which meant that it needed a lot of clearance in the loft, and the clearance would actually stick into the space where the railway was going to go, so I couldn't do that. I couldn't work around it, so I had to make an adjustment. So I got rid of that one, and I did some research on the internet and got this one. This is a concertina loft ladder, and it only occupies that cube of space you can see there. It comes on a backboard which you screw to the joists, and that's all the space it takes up. It takes up no room whatsoever inside the loft, so it's rather good. I had to unfortunately adjust the loft hatches, which you can see it's a bit of a mess on the edge of the loft hatch itself, the lid, the door if you like. I had to move the hinges because it wouldn't come down properly. So that's it. The springs, the two big red springs, hold it in place, and it just hovers there, waiting to be used. No space whatsoever inside the loft. It's really good. So pull it down, you can see it's all concertinaed up, because it is a concertina ladder after all. It rests on these two hooks there, and it's got the two red wheels, so just lift it over, pull it down, and it falls out. There's no weight in it, it's quite sturdy, it's very well made. And there it is, a concertina loft ladder. I've never seen one before. I must admit, it wasn't particularly cheap, but it does the job for me, and it takes no space whatsoever in the loft. So we'll go in. Okay, as you can see, as we go through the loft hatch, we're just about done. The loft is done. In the far wall, you can see there, that's the chimney breast wall. You can see I've boxed in the chimney breast totally with plasterboard, just to make it tidy. It was just absolute mess of brickwork. It was easier just to box the whole thing in than to try and paint the bricks or anything. And everything else has been boarded in with plywood and painted. We've got some fluorescent lights in, so it doesn't look too bad. I think I've perhaps gone a little bit overboard, because it's not meant to be another bedroom or anything. It's only meant to be a railway room, but I went down to the local carpet warehouse, got a remnant, cheap, put that down the middle, and then it's looking pretty good now. Still got a lot of junk around, Christmas tree, Christmas decorations, that sort of thing, which I'll have to sort out and move out the way, because everything's going to be stored around the edges underneath the loft, leaving the centre section free, so you can move around basically. So the loft's going to go, the railway is going to go around the edges. That's the plan anyway. Now what I did was, at work we have an A3 printer, so I got some of my own paper, because we didn't have any at work, some A3 paper, it wasn't too expensive, and I printed out the station plan, full size. Took 68 sheets of A3 paper, and then I stuck them all together with sellotape and put it down. So I basically wanted to see how big it was and whether it fits into the space based on my measurements, because I took some measurements before I started boarding the loft out and making it tidy. And the sort of light yellow mark there is the joist, the beam, which runs the full length of the loft. And I think I got more or less that in the right position. So that's the plan. The plan was created with AnyRail 5, which I've had great fun with. Every time I do a plan, I'll make some minor changes, I should say. I give it a new number. So I think this is based on plan 37 or 38 or something like that. I've actually lost count. So yeah, that's it's great fun. I would recommend AnyRail. It's very easy to get to grips with. And you can print full size if you want, or any size in between. As you can see, we didn't paint the edges round the loft because we ran out of paint, basically. It's also not carpeted in that section of the loft, because it was a bit pointless, really. Because it's just going to be used for storage. You won't even see it. In fact, you'll not be able to see the back wall, so we don't really need the paint either. As you can see, I moved the electricity socket. It was very high up before, so I moved them down to usual height. So anyway, this is the plan at the moment. As you can see, it's a mainline station. It has 2 tracks for up and down line, obviously, and then there's actually a passing track through the middle to allow through trains, freight and whatnot to go through without stopping, without affecting anything waiting at the station. That's the plan. It's one of Cyril Fraser's plans, which I'll have to find out which one it is. I can't find the little book I got it from, actually. But it's one of the Cyril Fraser's plans. At the moment, the plan is to have a main line, up and down main line, and a branch line, which is actually the bit you can't see. It's lower down in the picture. The branch line is going to be at a slightly different height. It's going to be lower down, and it's not going to be directly connected to the main line. What passengers would have to do is get off the main line and go down some stairs, because it's going to be about 100 mil below the level of the main line, and then get on a branch line train. That's the plan. That pink bit there, by the way, that was originally going to be where my workbench was, till I thought it's just ridiculously small, so I'm going to have to move it. So, but that's just a hangover. As when I printed it out, I realised how tiny I'd left the space, so it's too small, I think. Yeah, so there's a lot of track, a lot of point work, which is another reason I wanted to print it out full size, actually. When I did the points, I wanted to see roughly where the joists were going to be in the baseboards, so I don't put any joists where there's a point mortar going to be. That was the plan. That was one of the reasons for printing it full size. Originally, the station here was going to be turned 90 degrees where that joist is, that set of joists is and beams, but I realised that just wasn't going to work, because that was totally in the way. And I did try and work around it, but it wasn't going to work, so I turned it through 90 degrees. So as you see, it's quite a busy station. The line that crosses the platform, by the way, it crosses all the tracks, that's an elevated line. I think I've definitely bitten off more than I can chew here, because I've never actually built a layout before. I've only ever had train sets when I was a boy. That's just about it for another update. Hopefully next time we'll be onto the baseboard. So thanks for watching. Another update in a couple of weeks, perhaps. We'll see how it goes. It's the weather's a bit warm at the moment, but at least the loft's ready to go, ready for the baseboards.